Hello and welcome everyone. Now, today in this video, I'm using a totally different mic setup, so I might sound a little different. Okay, so please let me know in the comment if the audio quality is as per in par with the previous video, or it is something different, or it is better, or it is not according to the previous video. Now, in today's video, we are going to learn more about how to create this kind of shapes or this kind of flower vase inside this particular inside this particular software called Siemens NX. Okay, so hang on with me. I'm going to take you, with the entire process of creating this particular part. Okay, and we'll do it step by step. Now, let us start by creating a new sketch. So here, what I'm doing is I'm starting a new file, and here I'm trying to create a new sketch. Let's say I'm creating my sketch on the front plane. Now, here on the front plane, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a exact design of the vase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use spline command, and I'm going to roughly sketch out, like here I'm going to use through point option, and I'm going to roughly sketch out 1, 2, 3, and 4 points. Don't worry, if you're following along, we are going to give dimension to this spline so that everyone can have a similar diagram. Okay, so now here if I click OK, this is how the spline is going to look like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this endpoint of the spline and this X axis, and I'm going to select point on curve so that this particular endpoint lies on this particular point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start providing dimension. For example, I want this point and this point with a gap of 250. Okay, so here I'm given a dimension of 250, and same dimension I have to repeat multiple times. For example, here also I want 250. I guess I have less number of points on a spline. So what I'll do to increase the number of points is I'll simply delete my spline and again recreate it. So I created splines with only 4 points. Okay, but technically I need a spline with at least 5 points. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this spline. Again, I'll do it. So 1, 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So this is how my spline is supposed to look like. Again, I'm going to select the endpoint and the x-axis, and I'm going to select point on curve. There are ways using which we can add a point on the spline in the middle somewhere. Okay, but I don't want it to do that for now. So here I'm going to give 250, the first distance, the second distance also 250, the third distance is also 250. So first I'm defining the height-wise dimension between the points. Okay, and the fourth one also 250. Just to keep it simple, I'm using the same values again and again. Okay, now the distance from here to the origin is going to be 120. So here I'm defining 120 as the value. Now from here to the next point, this gap is going to be 150. So here I'm defining 150 as the value. So this point is at 120, and from here to the next point, the gap is 150. So I'll just show you by placing it correctly. And this is the most complex sketch which we are going to make. Okay. Now the distance between these 2 points and this point should go behind. It should not come in the front. It should go behind. And this gap is going to be 15. Okay. So this point is hardly 15 mm inside. And this gap here, okay, for this particular point, this gap here is going to be 120. Okay. And finally, this should come forward by 15. So here I have created all the dimensions perfectly. Okay. So you can see this is coming forward by 15. This is going behind by 120. This is again going behind from the previous point by 15, and this is coming forward by 150. So this is something I have created. Now in other softwares you have to create a complete close sketch, but here in NX, if you're creating the geometry perfectly and if you're revolving it by 360 degree, so here I can finish my sketch and click on revolve command. And once I select revolve command, here I have to select the axis of for revolution. So I'm going to select this as the axis of revolution. And let's say this is, we are going to revolve with a value of 360 degree. So here I'm trying to revolve with a value of 360 degree. Okay, in the Boolean operation, I'm selecting none because there is no body to unite to. Okay, and you can notice I'm getting a complete solid body, and this is what I wanted. Okay, now I can hide my sketch because the use of the sketch is done, and now I have to create some datum planes. Okay, now I'm going to use a command called variable offset case, which you might not be aware of. Okay, so please hang on with me and just try to follow along so that you can understand those commands as well. Now, to create a datum plane, I can click on datum plane command here on the top left corner, and then I can reset the command just for the sake of starting fresh. Okay, and here I'm selecting the base. So I'm selecting the base here and I'm getting a datum plane. Now, if I give a value over here called 80, for example, I want to create a datum plane at the distance of 80. So if I create a data plane at the distance of 80, this is going to go down by 80. Now I can click on flip, and now it is going up by 80. So this is what I wanted. But the data plane what I'm looking at is smaller than the geometry. Technically, data plane never have a size, like it is an infinite geometry. But only thing is, if it is smaller than the geometry as of now, it will not be selectable very easily. So I'm selecting this corner point and dragging it outside the geometry so that it is at least slightly bigger than the geometry. Okay, this is just a visual size. Datum plane size is not limited by the boundary. Okay, so here we have a datum plane created. Now, again, I want one more datum plane from this datum plane at an offset on the upside of 400. So here I'm creating a second datum plane with a distance of 400. Okay, so I have created two datum planes perfectly. Now, what I have to do after this is I have to go to the surface tab, and then I'm going to select this option called variable offset face. Okay, I'm going to select this option called variable offset face. And this particular option is present inside the more group. Now, if I select variable offset face, I have to reset this command so that it comes back to this original condition. In select face, I'm going to select a single face condition or single face rule. We can say this is the selection rule for faces. Okay, so I'm going to select single face here, and then I'm going to click on that face, the curved face. Then in boundary and regions, I'm going to select the datum plane number 1 and datum plane number 2. Okay, so I'm going to select the bottom plane first and the second plane on the top. Now you might find an arrow somewhere over here. So you have an arrow on the top, the arrow in the middle, and the arrow in the bottom. So you have to click on the arrow in the bottom, and you have to offset this. Okay, you have to offset this with a value of 30. So here I'm trying to offset this with a value of 30. Then I'm going to select the arrow in the middle, and I'm going to select bridge. Okay, I'm going to select bridge, and inside settings, here I'm going to select tangent. Okay, inside setting, bridge continuity will be set as tangent, and the offset output will be offset as a new body. So I don't want to offset it as solid. I just want to offset this as a new body. Now if I click OK, in this current condition, I have total of two bodies, one sheet body and one solid body. Okay, so the sheet body is on the outer side, the solid body is on the inner side. Just to make sure we understand the bodies correctly, I'm just going to give different colors to the body. So let's say, for example, the sheet body will be of this particular color. You can define any color you want to. And let's say, for example, the solid body will be of this particular color, suppose. So you can define different colors to different bodies. Okay, so sheet body can have a different color. The solid body can have a different color, so that it is easy for you to understand which two bodies I'm talking about. Okay, now next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new sketch again on the front plane. Front plane means the visor plane, you can say. Any plane will be fine, front or right. Okay, so I'm creating a new sketch on the front plane and I'm clicking OK. Now, the sketch what I'm going to create will look somewhat like this. So for example, it will be a line, horizontal line. The length of the line is going to be 100. Okay, so you can see the length of the line is 100. Now the midpoint of the line is going to lie on the plane. So I'm going to select the line and select point on curve. Select the midpoint of the line and select the plane and select point on curve. Then again, I'm going to select the midpoint of the line and the origin, and I'm going to make it vertically aligned with the origin. Okay. Now, next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a circle exactly below the midpoint like this, and I'm going to make sure the midpoint and this point is again vertically aligned. Then I'm going to create two lines, one on the right, which will be tangential to the circle, and one on the left. Again, this will be tangential to the circle. The diameter of the circle is going to be 160. So here I'm double clicking on the value and finding 160 as a diameter. Then I'm going to trim the circle, and the total height from this point till the bottom point, this distance is going to be 360. Okay, so you can define certain change in values will be also fine. But yeah, this dimension is 360, this dimension is 100, and this dimension is 160. You can follow the similar values if you don't want to get stuck. Okay, now here I'm going to click on finish, and you can see my sketch is already selected and highlighted. Now what I need to do is I need to project my sketch on this side, exactly in the front. So I'm going to make sure my sketch is selected. I'm going to go to the curve tab. I'm going to select project curve. Now here in project curve, I'm going to select in the object to project to. In this case, I'm going to select single faces, or tangent faces will also be fine. So I'm going to select this solid body outer face. and this body outer face. So these two outer faces I have selected for object to project to. In direction, I'm going to select this direction. So the projection is going to happen in this direction, technically in the same direction where the thing is happening. So here in direction, you're going to select along vector. In vector, you're going to select this direction, that is the y-axis for now. And here in projection option, you're going to set it to none. Okay, so this is how the projection should look like. Now, if I click OK, and if I hide the variable face offset, I have two projections, one for the inner surface and one for the outer surface, and this is how it's going to look like. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a surface using the two projection. Okay. Now, before I create a surface, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use certain options. Now, for example, here, I'm going to first of all go to the Home tab and choose this option called Divide Face. Now, here in Divide Face, I'm going to select single face for division. Let's say this is the face which I want to divide. And here, I'm going to select Connected Curve. So, let's say this particular diagram I need to select for division, okay, with the horizontal line. So, here I have used Divide Face to get this particular output. Okay, so technically now this single face is divided into multiple faces. Then I'm going to go to the surface tab and choose offset surface. And I'm going to offset this single face with a value of 0. So here I'm offsetting this face with a value of 0. So technically I'm creating an overlapping face. Okay, so now we have three bodies. One is the solid body. One is the offset surface body. So if I hide the solid body, so I have three bodies now. So I've just hidden the revolver for your information and the sketch as well. So I have three bodies right now. One is this revolved body, one is the variable offset face body, and one is this offset face body. Okay, and how I was able to only offset this particular area, that is by using the divide face tool itself. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to the surface tab and choose through curve. Now here in through curve, here in the section 1, I'm going to select tangent curve. I'm going to select this left line. So this is the entire thing which is going to get selected. Then I'm going to click on the add button and select the inner line. Now what I'm getting here is this particular set of curves is connecting with this one. Now here in continuity, I'm going to select position. In alignment, I'm going to activate preserve shape and I'm going to select parameter over here. Okay, in output surface, I'm not going to do any changes. It is all default. And here I'm going to click OK. So this is how this particular surface is going to look like. Now what I'm going to do is, next thing, I'm going to sew this surface together. Okay, so to sew this surface together, I need to click on surface, sew. Sew means uniting the surface together, So I want to sew this surface with this one. Okay. And then I'm going to hide my projected curve as well. So this is how the entire output is going to look like. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to the Home tab. I'm going to click on the draft command. Okay, the draft angle you can see is set to 30 degree. I'm selecting the edge option. Okay, the edge option is currently selected. The direction is going to be this, in the same direction where the projection happens. So this direction I'm going to select. In the stationary edge, I'm going to select tangent curve, the upper edge. Okay, and I'm going to flip the draft. So it should be drafting inward. I'm going to flip the direction so that it will be drafting inward like this. So technically, I'm creating a draft which is going inside. Now, if you want, you can also create a draft of 45 degree for much better angle. Okay, or you can create a draft of 30 degree. So for now, I have kept the draft value of 45 degree. If there is any problem in future, I'll change the draft angle back to 30 degree. Now, after creating this draft, I have only one geometry like this. I want 6 of them. So I'm going to select pattern geometry option, selecting this. Okay, here the layout will be set to circular. Specify vector will be the Z axis. And I want, let's say, 8 of these in 360 degree in count and span mode. And I'm going to click OK. So this is how this entire thing is going to look like. Then I'm going to show the variable offset face geometry. So this one. So now we have two geometries which are now visible. Okay, variable offset face geometry and the draft geometry, that particular design. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the surface tab and select this option called trim sheet. Okay, I'm going to select this option called trim sheet. Okay, now if I click on trim sheet, here it will ask me for the target body, which is going to be the main body itself. And in boundary, I'm going to select all the 6 body. Here body faces should be the condition. And 1, 2, 3. What you can do is you can deactivate preview if you don't want to see the result fast. But here I guess you don't have the preview button. So you have to deal with the selection speed. Okay. So here I'm selecting this. We cannot press Control A because that will end up selecting the planes as well, and we don't really want to do that. So let's say I've selected all the 6 bodies. Here in region, this region is already highlighted, and that region I want to keep. So I'm going to select this region and click on Keep and click OK. So now the result is going to look like this. Okay. Now I'm going to click on Sew and I'm going to select this as my main body, and I'll press Ctrl A for the remaining bodies and I'll click OK. So now everything has been sewed together. Okay. Now I'm going to click on Edge Blend. I'll give a radius of 10 tangent curve. Let's say first to the inner edge. And to make it faster, I'm just going to deactivate the preview and do my selection in a faster way. And I'll show my preview once my selection is completed. So I'm only selecting the inner one. I'll see the preview again. So it will take a while to generate the preview. If you want, you can also play with a radius value. Like rather than 10, you can make it 15 or 20 or any other value. Okay. So let's say here this is fine. I'll click OK. If I'm getting any issues, I'll change the angle back to 30 degree. So because 30 degree is something which I have already tried, the previous diagram which you have seen is with the draft angle of 30. So now everything is looking fine. I guess there are some issues over here particularly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the draft angle, draft details. The angle will be changed to 30 degree now. It might take a while to update the details. So you have to wait if you are using the similar angle. Now in this condition, your PC performance will matter a lot. Okay, now the draft angle has been successfully changed. Okay, now we can try the edge blend again. So I'll just delete the previous blend. I'll go for edge blend again. Here I'm going to select tangent curve. In the selection, preview is on. I'm going to select one of these edges and I'm going to wait to see the preview. Okay, I'll just reset the blend tool, tangent curve. Let us try with a smaller radius, that is 5. And here it is telling that the radius is trimmed. I'll just try somewhere else or on all the locations. I'll just see what exactly is happening. If this is not working, okay, only if this is not working, I have one more solution for that. Okay, so I can see in some areas the fillet is not working, and in most of the areas the fillet is working. So you can see in this area, this area, this area, the fillet is not working, but in all other areas, the fillet is technically working. So what I can do is I can cancel the fillet. I can first try to create a fillet on the outer edges. Okay, so let us try all the outer edges first. And I guess everything is working fine. I'll just increase the radius to 20 and see what is happening. And yeah, everything is going fine. So I'll click OK, and all the outer edges are now with a radius of 20. Now again, I'll go for edge blend. Again, I'll go for inner radius. Again, I'll go for all the inner radius. And let us see if we face the similar problem. And I'm going to use the radius value of 20 for now. Yeah, everything is looking fine. There is a small red mark here that indicates unable to apply blend. So I hope it activates the blend tool properly. Okay, so if it shows unable to apply blend, then what we need to do is we need to change the radius value. Okay, so there are some settings which I can tweak in order to get the blend right. Okay, but for now, I'm going to simply change the radius value. So let's say here it is saying unable to apply blend, try reducing the radius value. So here I'll go for the radius value of 10 and see what exactly is happening. So I might need to wait a couple of minutes in order to understand what exactly is going to happen with the radius value of 10. So here again, it is showing you because of this particular reason, it is not allowing. Okay, only for this particular reason. I can do one thing is I can try to make a selection here, or I can totally avoid this edge because only this edge is creating the problem. Other edges are all fine. And this can happen. This can eventually happen. That is because of the geometrical tolerances what we have. So I hope if I remove that, okay, this one is also having a problem. So I guess I have to keep it for now. Otherwise, the problem will be shifted to the next one and then to the next one and then to the next one. So that doesn't really solve the problem. So I need to reduce the radius value further. So I'll just try to reduce it to 5. Okay, so it's not going to work. The radius value which I'm selecting is not going to work. So I'm going to cancel this and I'm going to create a place blend instead. So it is not working because of this condition, geometrical condition. So now I'm going to select face blend, and here I'm going to select two faces. Here I'm going to select single face as a condition, selection condition. And here I'll go for automatic, everything else is fine. And here I'll go for circular, okay, with a constant radius value of, let's say, 10. Now, in first set of faces, I'm going to select one. Okay, here it's working fine. So I hope this selection is going to work. So I'll reset this. So here I'll go for single curve or tangent curve. I'm going to select this curve exactly. Okay, so this is working fine. The face blend of radius 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the radius of, let's say, 10, 20. Yeah, this is working all great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this inner edges one by one. This right side one, so that it creates a fillet over there. So here you have to select the right edges. Now face blend basically doesn't consider the edges, it considers the two bounding faces. So that is the reason you might get a perfect output using face blend. So far I'm getting perfect output and I've already clicked OK. Okay, so don't worry, you can continue creating the blend. So I'll also continue creating the blend, face blend. Again on this edge, on this edge, on this edge as well, and on this edges. Okay, this is all blended already. Yep. So now I have successfully applied the blend to all the shapes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack the shape from the top and from the bottom. So to do that, I'm going to select bounded plane. I'm going to select the top edge, apply, then the bottom edge, okay. And then I'm going to use sew command. So here I'm going to click on sew, this one with this one and this one, and I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now because it is completely sewed from all the sides, it's going to be a solid body. So now technically I have two solid bodies, one which was already there, that revolved body, and one this one. So what I'm going to do now is, rather than hiding that body, I'm going to click on unite. I'm going to make the outer body get united to the inner body. And if I click OK, so this output I'm going to get. Okay, now I'll press Ctrl W. I'll hide all the datum, curves, and sketches. Okay, and then I'll go to View. I'll click on Perspective. I'll click on the Home button. I'll go to Style, Shaded, and Studio. So this is how the output is going to look like. So I hope you understood how to make this kind of vase. Okay. The only area where we got stuck was the blend tool, specifically in this area. So it can happen with you, it might not. Okay. That totally depends upon the kind of configuration you are using. I might have not resetted the through curve command, so the surface output what I was getting was not very smooth. Okay. So that totally depends upon what results you are getting. Okay, so slight changes in the settings as well can give you different conditions, different results. Okay, so I hope you understood how to create this kind of objects. Okay, and thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.